This Andy's Frozen Custard 300 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code SGP. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on football. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code SGP. We're also brought to you by Gametime. Snag the tickets without the stress. Use promo code CFBX on your first purchase to save $20. Download the Gametime app and use promo code CFBX. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play the Underdog Pick'em in college or NFL and win up to 20 times in one game. Use promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. Finally, we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off of your first month and start making smarter bets today.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'll wreck my mom to win a championship. I'll wreck your mom to win a championship.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
It refrains me from not beating the out of you right now because you ask me stupid questions. But since I'm on probation, I suppose that's improper to say as well. If you could talk about racing things, we could talk about racing things.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
We are here on a Wednesday. It is the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez, yelling in your eardrums once again. Excited because it is another Xfinity race. It is another chance for us to give you our favorite picks. And what we are here to do really week after week and day after day is try to get you guys a little extra money in that pocket. It's getting close to Christmas. I say that in September because if you haven't started planning for it already, you're screwed and your kids aren't going to love you come December. So we're trying to get you there on this.
Amazing how scheduled that is every year and how it still sneaks up on us, Rod.
I'm telling you,
it's always at the end of December, and yet it's always like, oh shit, it's almost Christmas time.
So the wife and I, we said, what was it last year even, that we were like, okay, listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to buy a gift every month for each one. That way, by the end of the year, we have all of our gifts. Cody, ask me how many times that's worked out for us.
Wait, can I take the under on this?
You could, whatever the number is, you could probably take 1/2 and take the under on that. That is how often it has worked out for us.
That sounds accurate.
Fortunately,
kids' minds change a lot in 11 months anyways.
It's true. It's true. What that toy you wanted earlier in the year is, and that even works for adults too. You try that. What you wanted in January is not what you wanted in December. I guarantee you that.
Exactly.
By the end of December, you just want a car that runs and your air conditioning to work at the end of the summer. That's what you want by the end of September.
There you go. That's very accurate.
Anyways, welcome in, Cody. It's it's
not December, still September, but here we are talking about Christmas.
Maybe I'm wishing that it was weather that is December.
Oh my goodness!
Don't let the thing fool you. It's like 78 degrees out there right now. It feels like winter compared to what we've been having lately.
78, man, nice. We've been back up into the 90s, so it's been a little warm here in the Midwest.
No, thank you. Well, then cool off with some Andy's Frozen Custard, my friend. That is the sponsor of this race for the Xfinity. Not in your state. It is in Kansas, but it is not in. I don't see it in Nebraska at all. So our bad.
Andy's Frozen Custard for us. We had parent teacher conferences today, so we went and had some 402 Creamery. 402 is the area code here, and so. Yeah, local ice cream place. Shout out to them. It's absolutely delicious. So we already cooled off with some. Since there's no Andy's, we settled for 402, you know.
What are you doing, Andy's? You're missing out. California's a big market. Come on out. I'm sure frozen custard would be loved out here on the West Coast if you introduced it to us. But It is big in the South, and of course, it is big in Texas, where they are.
Everything's big in Texas, Rob.
Everything's big in Texas. Even I was there for 3 years. I was stationed in El Paso, and yeah, there's a lot of big things in El Paso. There's a gigantic big star on the side of a mountain that you can see from a lot of points in the city. There are big crime lords. I'm sorry. Wait, no, that's
Oh, wrong list. I was supposed to read off that one.
My bad. I'm sorry. But yeah, anyways. So yes, it is Texas. It is the Texas Motor Speedway. We are back to a 1.5 mile track. Xfinity is still in the middle of their playoffs. They're heading toward the round of 8, as it were, now instead of 12 for the Cup Series, but definitely into the round of 8 for the Cup Series drivers. The second race of the playoffs. Justin Allgaier already locked in, but there's still a lot to race for, Cody, because there's a lot of drivers that are looking to try to improve their playoff situations.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, Justin Allgaier is locked in. So what happens here at Texas, what happens at the Roval next week does not affect his playoff standings. He will be in the round of 8. Looking at the line here, John Hunter is plus 65, Custard is at plus 39, Hill is plus 21, Chandler Smith plus 18. He who shall not be named is plus 12. Sammy Smith is plus 5. Sheldon Creed plus 4. And then you got Jeb Burton minus 4. And then via that crash induced by Josh Berry, you got Sam Mayer at minus 14. Kligerman's at minus 22. Josh Berry is at minus 24. So some heavy holes to dig out of already for those 3 guys specifically there. So it will be interesting to see how their performance is this week and what kind of hole they are still in or have dug themselves out of heading next week to the Charlotte Roval, which as we've talked about in the Cup Series, could be absolute chaos. And that's not next week. That's in 2 weeks, but they're off next week, I guess. So just to clarify, no Xfinity next week for Talladega, which is unfortunate. I love some super speedway racing, but be Cup and Trucks next week. Xfinity has their final off week, and then they'll be back at the Roval.
I'm sure none of those Xfinity drivers are at all heartbroken by the fact that Talladega will be missing off of that. After what happened in Bristol, I don't think they want to go to another track that chaos will reign.
Yeah, Jeb Burton might be the only one that's sad that they're not going to Talladega because that's where he got his win in the spring. He's pretty good there. It might have been his chance to advance, but hey, he's only 4 points out right now. If playoff guys continue to have troubles, which how many times have we said that so far this year? You never know.
I see. This is why they need to give us odds to make the playoffs at the beginning especially for Xfinity, because they didn't give us those for Xfinity, did they? To make
no, I don't think so. There's been on and off throughout the season. There's been to make the Final Four for the Cup.
I'd rather
you've been able to bet, but yeah, like again, this is a place where the books can and we're getting better and better options, right? So maybe we'll get there eventually. But like starting the round of 16, like who makes the round of 12? Have odds out there. Sure, Martin Truex Jr. Give us a no too. Like Martin Truex Jr. should be, minus 2,000. Yes, because obviously he's got, but you saw him almost miss it, right? So give us a plus 500, plus 800 on him to miss it or whatever. Like, but yeah, I mean, give us odds to get for Bubba Wallace to make it through or for Michael McDowell to make it through, and then do the same thing. Now we're reset to the next round. Like, so many opportunities they're missing to allow us to win more money.
I think that may be exactly why. Because I tell you, I don't know that either one of us would have had on our bingo card Jeb Burton making the next round of the playoffs for Xfinity, let alone making the playoffs in general, right?
We're still in the first. Well, yeah, we're still in the first round. So
I mean, yes, but
just making them obviously, yeah. It's the only way he's going to do it is to win a Talladega or a Daytona, right? And that's what happened.
Winning at Talladega. So, So this one, of course, is a 300 miler for this race, and I know that because it says Andy's Frozen Custard 300. If you listened to the Cup show yesterday, you know that I have no clue what the difference is between 400 and 500 miles is, because when I read off of a screen, I'm taking it for granted that the screen is correct. Well, unfortunately, yes. Sunday's Cup race is not 500 miles. It is 400 miles, no matter what any other thing that I'm reading says. So excited for, like I said, this in particular, 1.5 miles. So they get an opportunity to sort of take a deep breath and get reset, as these cookie cutter tracks, as they're called, offers a little more comfort and a little more space, especially on a big track like Texas, that the Bristol Motor Speedway or even anything else that they've raced on in the last few weeks has given them. So we will talk about that. We'll give you some news and notes from this race. Let's tell you about DraftKings, though. We're back with another week of football. DraftKings Sportsbook is keeping us in on the NFL action with great offers every single game day. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Throw $5 down on any of this week's epic matchups to walk away as an instant winner. DraftKings is not stopping there. No, sir. All customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. Go now. We found one this morning from the NFL, from the Propcast version, for the Thursday night version. They're offering an alternate rushing line for Christian McCaffrey right now. If you go find it, it's at 125 is the yardage total, right? You can get that at plus 500 or plus 550 for Christian McCaffrey to rush for over 125 yards this Thursday night against the Giants, who are absolutely putrid. Christian McCaffrey is going to go wild. Do not miss your opportunity to throw your $5 down at least on that bet. Football is way more fun when you're in on the action. Download the app now. Sign up with code SGP. New customers can bet just $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, with code SGP. Crown's yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Cannot stand buying tickets. Just don't like it whatsoever. Doesn't matter for its concert, for a sporting event, for my next door neighbor's barbecue. I do not like buying tickets. But that is all changed now since I've been introduced to the Gametime app. The Gametime app takes all the stress out of me waiting till the very last minute to text my neighbor, yes, I will buy tickets to your barbecue next door. So he won't try to price gouge me. Gametime's got me covered, my friends. It'll have you covered as well. Not only will it take the stress out of buying last-minute tickets, but it will also reward you for your procrastination. You can get the best deals on last-minute tickets. You can get flash deals on last-minute tickets. It is going to change the way you purchase tickets because it will take all the stress out of the situation. Not to mention, you are going to get a picture of that seat, of that recliner, of that folding chair that's going to be waiting for your neighbor's house when you're looking at the grill, waiting for that burger to get flipped. That is what you're going to get from Gametime. They're going to send you a picture of your seat. So please do yourself a favor. Snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code CFBX for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CFBX for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Cody, has your neighbor ever sent you a picture of a reclining chair when you've reserved yourself a seat to his barbecue?
He has not. My neighbor makes some pretty good food sometimes. But yeah, he's not send me a view of what seats I'll be getting.
So Gametime's better than your neighbor.
That's what should, yes. Okay.
I
Sorry.
hope your neighbor doesn't listen. Sorry. The NASCAR Gambling Podcast, making enemies out of your neighbors since 2023.
Right. It's okay.
Oh, man. All right. Speaking of enemies, there were a lot of enemies on the track this last weekend.
A lot of friends that are guys that should be friends that were enemies.
Frenemies, right? Frenemies is the term that the kids are using nowadays. So what is the news that has come out of all of that chaos this week?
Is there any news, Rod? I think we've already touched on all that. Honestly, I was scouring before we got on here, and then not really anything else that's new that's come up. We've kind of talked about the major stuff. Obviously, there was this, some Clash came out. There was the shakeups as far as the charter being sold, and I don't know if we mentioned Daniel Hemrick. I'll say his stupid name. He's going because some people might be listening for the first time. He's burned us on a lot of bets, so we don't say his name. He'll hereby be referenced as number 10 for now. Next year, we'll have to reference him as number 31 because he's going to be in the Cup car for Colleague. Rod, if I ever hear the phrase chasing trophies again, I will punch someone in the face because that's the biggest fucking lie anyone has ever sold. You're not chasing trophies if you're putting Daniel Hemrick in your car. An Xfinity Series champion. I get it. All the credit to him for getting that one win. And it was great. It was a good story, right? And it happens, the Giants beat the Patriots undefeated, and sometimes David wins against Goliath, right? But you ain't chasing trophies with that guy. So obviously he brought the funding necessary. But other than that, yeah, I mean, there's not really any other big news items. We had all the guys, that re-signed last week. As far as Allgaier announced during his post race celebration, he was coming back. Brandon Jones, it was made official, even though we already knew he was coming back. Sam Mayer, it was made official. So the 8 cars, the only one left. It's going to be Carson Quapple. I would imagine they're waiting until his NASCAR license is approved for or whatever he needs. He's got to run more truck and ARCA races, which is why he's running truck and ARCA races.
I love it. All right. Well, then, if no news is good news, I suppose. I guess it's time we should probably get into this race in particular. I'm
feeling good about this one.
You are?
Oh man. Xfinity has been so good to us this year. The racing has been so good. This was one of the easiest cards of the year for me to figure. I got to stop doing that. I always click the microphone button and start and it starts typing in the document for me.
Oh, did it do that again?
So, yeah. Rod wasn't looking, but it's all of a sudden a bunch of words are coming up.
I was pulling up the race stats for this particular race. So yeah, I definitely didn't see that going on. But yes, I mean, this is actually one of the ones that, we talked about it last week as far as letting the stats speak to you. And I think this is one that's kind of an easier, because it's a mile and a half, right? I mean, we kind of know what we're looking at. You can comp a couple of extra tracks on this one too. So it's not necessarily that foreign of a concept. So I'm with you on this. Definitely easier one to track. So all right, well, let's take a look at the race that is going to be this weekend. It is, like I said, the Andes Frozen Custard 300 from the Texas Motor Speedway at Fort Worth, Texas. It will be 200 laps around this mile and a half track. Definitely something that we're going to enjoy seeing. 300 miles even on this one. Last year, it was a 2 hour and 38-minute race. There was 14 lead changes and 9 cautions for 52 laps. So yeah, definitely some action to be had. I mean, it's not going to be the Bristol action, but it'll definitely be some action.
Yeah, it's going to be a good race. It's likely going to be a little more strung out than the type of action we saw at Bristol, right? I think there's certain teams, and we'll talk about it. Surprise, a lot of them drive Toyotas, but they're going to be fast. They're going to be good in this race. But we've seen it. The mile and a halves have given us great racing. The Cup Series, Xfinity Series always gives us great racing every week, it seems like. So going to be plenty of storylines going on in this one. And again, watching that point situation, it's going to be stage points are going to be very critical, especially for these Josh Berrys, these Sam Mayers. They're so far under the cut line. Gonna need to catch a break here this week. So it's going to be fun to watch.
It will be. All right, well, then we'll set up the bets, but let's do this. Let's tell you first about Underdog Fantasy before we do. Underdog has a way to play alongside your favorite football team or race along your favorite drivers all season long. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game or a race by going 5 for 5 in your picks. It's a fantasy game, but you can win real money. $100,000 Sundays continue on Underdog Fantasy. There's a total of $2 million in prizes all season long, $100K in prizes this week, $10K to 10 people this week. If it's a new sweepstakes every week on the NFL season, so it doesn't matter if you missed out this week, get in on it again. There's still another $100K in there. Saw a picture in our group chat, in our company chat, of the 10 people that woke up this morning $10,000 richer. I guarantee you I want to be one of those people. So you do as well. This week's higher or lower is Tyreek Hill. Receiving yards is 91.5 is what it's set at. Higher or lower? Cody, are you thinking higher? Or are you thinking lower?
What was the line again?
91.5 receiving yards for Tyreek Hill.
Oh, you gotta go higher, right? He got bottled up a little by the Patriots last week. To be expected. The Patriots do that type of thing. They can't stop Waddle, but they can stop Hill. That's how it works every time they play. Hill, he's gonna get loose for a 70-yard touchdown. He gets one more catch. He's gonna cash it for you. You got to take higher.
Well, even if you're wrong, Cody, you still have a chance to win $10,000. That is the Underdog guarantee for you. Watch along, make your picks. Maybe you'll make a little cash. Not maybe. I know you. You're going to make some cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up with the promo code SGPN, Underdog's going to double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bets revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down by leg as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. Stop betting in the dark. Join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off of your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. All right. We can also start winning by laying down our bets for this Andy's Frozen Custard 300 Xfinity race from the Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth, Texas. Cody, kick us off, my friend.
Yeah, I'm going to start with a guy that I have not talked about much since he let me down early in the season after I talked him up all off season. But that is Mr. Cole Custard. I like Cole Custard a lot this week, but I'm going to take him over Josh Berry, minus 110. I was looking for a way to get in on Custard, and this was kind of the best way that I found to get in on him. And I just want an opportunity to fade Josh Berry. You saw it last week, right? I mean, that's how it's been for Berry lately. It's just been kind of one thing after another. Ever since they announced him going to the 4, it's been a rough season for him. You go back over the last 4 races, Custard has 4 top 5 finishes in those 4 races. Josh Berry's got 1 top 5 finish in those last 4 races, and Custard has beat him for the last 5, obviously, by getting those better results. It's just been that's really as deep as I'm going to go. Like, it's been rough for Berry. Now he's way behind in the points. Is he going to be pushing too hard? We've seen him make some bigger mistakes earlier on the season. You go back to Pocono, where he had a pretty good car, makes a big mistake, kind of trying to go for it. It's just been uncharacteristic, and it's almost like he feels uncomfortable, I think, at this point, or I don't really know how to pinpoint it down. But Custer has just been, for the most part, I mean, pretty good, right? He's not been the race-winning car. He's not been the fastest guy out there, but he'll get you top 5 every week. He's going to be running up there, running good. And I think Berry's going to get in his own way, especially with the added pressure now of what happened last week and of being behind the 8 ball. He's going to be trying to push it. The 8 ball, because he's the 8 car. Got it. So give me Cole Custer over Josh Berry, minus 110.
And what's so in sports, and we've watched enough sports, God knows we've watched enough sports to see stuff like this happen to players, to drivers, to people that just, when you push as hard as you do, especially for the NASCAR season, baseball season, NBA, those long seasons. I mean, the NFL, it's like 16 weeks and you're done, right? I mean, it's sort of a condensed season when you compare it to some of these other gigantically long seasons. To keep up,
I wish the NFL season was longer, Rod.
I don't, because I don't miss football. I mean, especially now with the USFL and the XFL merging.
No, but still, the NFL.
CFL. I still love
Nobody
football.
cares about the CFL.
Oh,
sorry. I know those are fighting words.
I was about to say, I'm going to pull out my little bobblehead for the Red Sox guy, but no, but we've seen this before, and the fact that it takes so much mental capacity to keep your edge as long as it is, and these guys, I mean, they've been playing ping pong with each other for the entire season, so that's got to wear on you as well. I'll talk a little more about that later, but yeah, I mean, I'm with you on this one. I'm even 100% with you on this one because I have a couple of more Cole Custer bets coming up. I didn't think I was going to wake up this morning and choose Cole Custer, but here we are. So I'll definitely.
I'm actually glad you did, and we'll talk about it when we get to it. But one of the bets you put in here, I had put in here, and then I changed my mind, not because I talked myself out of Custer, but because I talked myself into someone else. So I was glad to see you got it. So my initial thought was correct. So we'll get back to that. But
we're here to validate all of your life choices. That's what we're here to do. We offer some value to you too. That's fine. But really what we're trying to do is just make each other feel better every day.
What we do.
It works, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's true.
Right. My first bet is Riley Herbst over Parker Kligerman. And it's sad. I know we love ourselves some Parker Klig, but this is he dug himself a hole in Bristol that I don't know that this team can really get itself out of. And look, it's not for lack of talent, but again, when you deal yourself a blow like that, it hurts. And Parker Kligerman is along the lines of like AJ Allmendinger. A lot of these guys drive so emotionally, right? And they get so emotionally invested in their finishes that you see, like Sheldon Creed, the same thing. Like you get out and he looks like a whooped dog half the time because he's literally been riding hard and not had the finishes. Parker Kligerman, the same type of thing. He gets out of the car and you just see right away the disappointment on his face. And so, it's kind of hard to get up for the next week when you know that you're got an uphill battle. All that being said, though, you look at the last couple of finishes at the Texas Motor Speedway for Riley Herbst. He actually had a 5th place finish in 2022, an 8th place finish there. So 2 top 10 finishes in 2022, 2 12th place finishes in 2021 as the driver of the 98. I won't even count the 18 car. Those two were some pretty bad starts for him. 32nd and 36th for Riley Herbst on this track. Parker Kligerman, he's had 3 races, 2 respectable finishes, and 1 34th place finish. But again, here's the thing about this. Parker Kligerman has not taken this track as an Xfinity driver since 2013, believe it or not. I mean, obviously we see him race every single week, but he hasn't touched this track in 10 years. He finished 13th in the 77 car back then. So again, we're talking about a long time between driving on this track. Look at what they've done lately. Parker Kligerman, again, we talked about it, 31st place finish at Bristol. He did see, here's the every other race thing that we talked about. Do you believe in patterns? This one should be on the upswing, but I don't necessarily believe in patterns too much. 4th at Daytona, super speedway. 24th at Darlington, not a super speedway. 4th at Kansas, 31st at Bristol for Parker Kligerman. It has been a roller coaster ride for that 48 car. As for Riley Herbst, sort of a roller coaster ride as well. 24th at Daytona, 6th at Darlington, 23rd at Kansas, 8th at Bristol. So both of these guys are on roller coaster rides, but I kind of trust Riley Herbst more to get out of it. We saw to start this season him on an absolute tear, right? Top 10 finishes up till Austin. And then when he really started to lose it for it, but then he picked it back up again at Pocono where he had 3 straight top 10 finishes. So I don't know. I just feel like I'm trusting the 98 car more than the 48 car. And I'll take Riley Herbst over Parker Kligerman at -115.
Sometimes I wonder if you just look for the 2 riskiest drivers in the field in the head-to-heads and then go for those. Because, oh man, it's hard to trust either of these guys. But I will agree with you. I think that Herbst is the guy that is more reliable. And again, it's been a great run for Parker, and he made it to the playoffs, and that was all great and stuff. But we know that 48 team is just not quite up to the par of Stewart Haas. And I know we talk bad about Stewart Haas on bigger tracks in the Cup Series, but in the Xfinity Series, it is a little different. They do seem to have it figured out there. Obviously, we just got done talking about Custard, his teammate. We're going to continue to talk about Custard. And the only issue with that is usually only one of them does good and the other one does bad. It's like we need to figure out whose week it is. But no, I do think that's a good bet. Next up for me, Rod, it's chalky, but this is the same thing as Kansas. We did this 2 weeks ago when we were in Kansas. You're doing it again. John Hunter Nemechek, top 3 finish, minus 130. You just load up on this bet. John Hunter Nemechek is going to be the best driver in the fastest car. It's not even going to be close. The only way that John Hunter Nemechek does not finish in the top 3 is if there is a penalty or, an accident. There's no other way that he doesn't finish. He's going to be extremely fast. They're going to find their way up there. They always do it at these types of tracks. He led 154 laps at Kansas. We had him that week, right? It was plus 300. It's not sexy, but hey, it cashes whether it's sexy or it's not, right? And again, I'm just the same thing I did at Kansas. We're just putting all the eggs into the John Hunter basket, and there's no safer basket to put them in the Xfinity Series than that one. So he led 154 at Kansas. He won there. He led 99 laps at Darlington, where he finished 3rd. He finished 3rd last week at Bristol. Even the smaller tracks where they don't have the speed advantage, right? He's still running up in the top 3. But you go back to Michigan, he led 65 there, and he won. He led 49 at Auto Club, and he won. Like, the speed difference that these JGR cars have on these bigger tracks, these intermediate tracks, like a Texas, like a Kansas, like a Michigan, it's no other team comes close, right? JRM comes close, I guess. But other than that, it's JGR is the absolute head and shoulders team. They're going to have the most speed. John Hunter is going to be top 3 all day, likely going to be leading this race. spoiler alert, going to pick him to win because that's likely what's going to happen, right? He's going to be up there. So even though we're going to take him to win here in a few minutes, you get the top 3 number as well, then you're covered it just in case, and somebody plays a strategy or a guy like Allgaier just outduels him or one of these other guys. There is that potential, right? You get the late race restarts, guys like Denny Hamlin dominated Kansas, end up finishing second. That's why you take these podium finishes in addition, because it provides a little insurance just in case they miss out on that top spot for whatever reason. And minus 130, I've seen it at minus 160 some places. So minus 130, you're getting a good price still. Juiced up, yes, but I want to pay the juice if you lose. You pay this in football, pay it in racing.
It's true. I mean, you pay it in just about any other sport, so you might as well pay it here, especially if it's racing and it's a heavy favorite like this, then it's almost, I don't want to say almost a foregone conclusion, because you know that anything can happen and tends to, but I mean, it usually is a foregone conclusion at that price. So I'm with you on that. I can't argue against John Hunter anymore, because every time I do, he comes out and does well. So anytime I start to raise my voice against him, he proves me wrong. So I will not do that again to you guys. I will back Cody on this one. All right. John Mayer. Yep. John Mayer's getting in the car.
Oh, John Mayer.
He is driving the number 1 because Sam is tired of getting beat up by his teammates. So he hired John Mayer to drive the 1. Holy junk. Sam, I'm sorry. Sam Mayer, top 3 car, plus 380 in this instance. This one's a little bit more risky as far as
I feel like if it was John Mayer, it would be a little higher than plus 380.
I don't know. Have you ever seen the guy race?
I have not, so I can't speak to that.
I'm just saying, I would want to see a couple of laps first before I handicap it, because that dude could probably pull out a quick lap if he really wanted to. I mean, guys that can sing like that, they could do anything they want. I hate guys who can sing like that. I can't.
Me either, Rod.
Oh, thank you very much. All right, Sam Mayer, top 3 car. He did it here already in the spring of 2022. 8th place finish in the fall of 2022. Also, his only other start here was a 13th place finish. So he has already done so at least once this season. He's got 9 top 5s on the year, right? He won at Watkins Glen. He won at Indy, 5th at Michigan, 1 at Elkhart Lake, 2nd at Pocono, 3rd at Nashville, 3rd at Portland. So a string of decent finishes, 2nd at Auto Club, right? We talked about that being sort of a comparable track to this as well. So again, a good record of top 3 finishes at tracks like this. His other start at Auto Club was a 6th place finish in February of 2022. And then you look back at what he's done at Kansas. Cody talked about Kansas being a comparable track as well. 37th this season, but of course he got that was where he got collected by one of his teammates. So can't count that.
Surprise.
But a 9th place finish in 2022, an 8th place finish in 2021. Sam Mayer quietly is still good. Like, I know that we joke about him getting bounced around by his teammates, and I get it. It's a good joke to make, but when he can stay clean, he will consistently be a top 5 car, which means he can be a top 3 car at the end of the day. We've seen it already this season several times. We've seen it on this track at least once. And like I said, when you can, and we, talk about when you finish 8th, you can finish 3rd. You just got to play your cards right. And Sam Mayer needs a good finish, especially after last weekend. JRM, I don't know what their meetings were like this week, but you got to think that they were like, if your teammate is within 5 feet of you, back off. Don't go anywhere near him. Just lay back. Don't touch them. Don't breathe on them. Don't side draft them. Just let them either go or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely going to be, I hope, a much cleaner race. And the only enemies he has out there are his friends. So if he can stay away from those guys, I think we're good for a top 3 finish out of Sam Mayer this week.
Yeah, I like this. Like I just said, right? The JRM cars are going to be the only ones that are going to be close to the JGR cars on speed. We know Sam Mayer could be that guy. From what Dale Jr. said, sounds like they've determined that it was a cut tire. At least that's the story they're sticking with and they're given and sticking with it. But and then he kind of, on his podcast, he was like, he's kind of disappointed in Sam for his comments afterwards. So kind of maybe he got a little bit of a little butt chewing and whatever, and wants to come out and prove, okay, hey, sorry that happened, but here, I'm still a good driver, right? He's 14 points below the cutoff, going to need a good run, so maybe they can shoot for the stars here in Texas. And I feel like at that number, you're getting a really good price on Mr. John Mayer or Sam Mayer or whichever mayor might happen to be in the car.
The one car found out there's no such thing as the real world. So, yeah, we're just going to go with that.
Rod, stop me if you've heard this before.
Stop.
Austin Hill, top 5, plus 120. Again, have you watched a race this year? Why they keep giving this to us, I don't know. But just go bet it. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Just go bet it. I could go through the numbers if you really wanted, but I don't even feel like I need to. Like, Austin Hill's going to be in the top at the end of the day. That's just how it goes. As long as his teammates not taking him out. Like, again, his only enemy is who needs enemies when you have teammates, I think is what he said, right?
He did, yeah.
Austin Hill, top 5. Well. Yeah. But Austin Hill, top 5, plus 120. You go back, 5th place at Kansas, 4th place at Darlington, or 5th place at Kansas, 2nd place at Darlington, 4th at Charlotte. He won at Las Vegas, 6th at Auto Club. Like, all comp tracks, all in the top 5 other than that Auto Club, which had some Cup guys in it. So, and he's just top 5 every week. Like, unless he gets caught up in something again, that's the only time he's not in the top 5 at the end of these races. And was going to be top 5 again last week. Got caught up by Sheldon Creed, and of course did not hit that. But plus money again? Are you kidding me? Plus 120? It would be a sin for us to leave this off the card. So it's the easy play, it's the cheap play, but you got to take it. Austin Hill, top 5, plus 120.
Yeah, again, when you talk about the 21 car, you can see the speed. You can see it. It's not even a question of can you see it. And he's driven his way up from the back to the front and then to the back to the front again. I mean, he's done it time and time again. So for us to keep getting that number, I mean, we've cashed on this more than we haven't. I mean, if we can hire an intern to go back and find out how many times we've cashed on a Cole Custard bet, top 5, I'd sure like to pay you for
on
that.
An Austin Hill bet. You're jumping ahead a little, Rod.
Did I say Cole Custard?
You did.
Oh, for the love of God.
Hey, guess what Rod's next bet is?
Cole Custard, top 5, plus 110 over on Caesars. Stupid John Mayer. Throwing me off. I'm taking Cole Custard as a top 5 car at plus 110.
Custard in the Custard race? What?
Custard in the Andy's Custard race? Ooh, cold Custard even.
Ooh.
Yeah, top 5 car plus 110. We just talked about the fact that, Cole Custard is going to be a fast car. He's been a fast car here in the Xfinity Series. Now, I kind of used the longevity of his absence from the track against Parker Kligerman. However, I will say that Cole Custard has not raced here since 2019. So there's a little bit of a disconnect like Parker Kligerman, but Cole Custard has actually been a better driver this season overall than has Parker Kligerman. And Cole Custard has won a race on this track in his past. In the same 00 car, he started out in 2017 with a 5th place finish again in 2017, 4th place in 2018. He won in the fall of 2018. He crashed out of the 2019 spring race, but he did start 7th, which there was speed there to be had. Just ran 132 laps and got crashed out. But in 2019, his last race here, started 4th, finished 8th. This season, I mean, since Indy, he has only finished outside of the top 10. In fact, let's even go so far as to say out of the top 7 once, and that was at Kansas. Guess what? Got crashed out of that one as well. Started 3rd, led 3 laps in that one, but still crashed out. Other than that, 4th place at Bristol, 4th at Darlington, 5th at Daytona, 7th at Watkins Glen, 6th at Indy GP. Go back a little further, 3rd at Atlanta, 1 Chicago, sort of. 9th at Nashville, 6th at Sonoma, 1st at Portland, 3rd at Charlotte, 3rd at Charlotte, 3rd at Darlington, 7th at Dover, 4th at Dega, 3rd at Martinsville, 5th at Richmond. Stop me if I'm getting, repetitive in top 10 finishes this season. In total, 17 in 27 starts, 11 top 5s in that span as well. So he can definitely get it done. I'm not even at all scared by just what Gremlins can jump up and get him. I think a top 5 finish for Cole Custer is well within his range of possibilities. I'll take that at plus 110 over on Caesars.
Yeah, I really like this one. Again, this was a bet that I considered, right? I really looked at this one, decided to go a different direction, but another one that I did like, I do like Custer this week. I talked about him earlier, and I know we're going to talk about him some more in a little bit. Next up for me, Rod, I'm going to go for a little bit of value here. I'm going to take Brandon Jones to be the top Chevrolet at 9-1. I don't know that I necessarily believe he will be the best Chevrolet, but I think he's got the chance to end up finishing as the best Chevrolet. So you look back, and we've talked a lot about Brandon Jones lately, right? We talked about him going into Kansas, how good he was there. We talked about him going into Michigan, how good he was there. And those are very comparable tracks to here, right? He finished, he's got 6 top 10s in his career here. He finished 2nd at Kansas. He was 3rd at Michigan. He was 7th at Pocono recently as well. So you look at the Chevy camp, and you got Justin Allgaier at the top of the list. Then it's Austin Hill. And Allgaier, again, he's a guy that could be one of the best, the best car really, or the second best car, probably didn't even check, but could be the best car, could win this race. Or he could do what Allgaier does and find a way to get penalized or go to the back. Like, again, just untrustworthy. That's why I didn't like him last week. You hit on him, and that was great, but you can't trust the guy on a week-to-week basis. So Austin Hill obviously is going to be the biggest threat to this, right? He's going to be in the top 5 at the end of this race. Brandon Jones could also be in the top 5, could edge him out. Josh Berry, I talked about how inconsistent he's been. Those are the only 3 guys listed above Brandon Jones. Then it's Jones at 9-1. You got Sam Mayer underneath that. I know you made a case for him to finish in the top 3, but that's definitely not a foregone conclusion. You have number 10, Sheldon Creed, who we'll talk about here in a little bit as well. And then it's guys like Chandler Smith, Parker Kligerman. You're starting to get out of range of other guys that could beat him. So if Allgaier has a problem, if Berry does Berry things, and then if Hill has a problem, or maybe he finishes 5th and Jones gets the 3rd or 4th or whatever it is, or ends up winning this race, whatever, I think he could be the top finishing Chevrolet at 9-1. I think that's a good price on him.
Yeah, and that was that. I'd take a swing at 9-1 for sure. That's kind of a 9-1 that feels mispriced to me. I like it, and so when I saw it, I was like, I really want to back you on that one, but I also want to hedge a little and make a case for Allgaier as the top Chevy. I'll just skip over to that bet since it sort of mirrors up. You mentioned
I had not seen that you had this one.
Yeah, it is at plus 175, so it is not necessarily as sexy as 9-1, but for Justin Allgaier, he's been the one to stay out of the ruckus as far as the teammates are concerned. Now he creates his own problems week after week. Absolutely. But other than that, if he can stay clean, he does very well on this track, especially over the last few seasons. In 2018, he finished 5th. In 2019, he finished 12th. And then a 6th place, a 3rd place, 26th in 2020, but he crashed out of that one. And then 2nd, 4th, 29th for Justin Allgaier. In that spring of 2022, he was behind Tyler Reddick in a Chevy, William Byron in a Chevy, and Sam Mayer in a Chevy. Now, Sam Mayer, I think he's like I said, that was the 3rd place finish that he was going to have, but I still feel like Justin Allgaier would finish better than Mayer. I couldn't necessarily pick Allgaier to win, spoiler alert, this week. I couldn't bring myself to suggest that he'd win, but I think maybe a 2nd place finish to Don Hunter Nemechek, or the driver that I'm selecting to win this race as an insurance. I think that could very well happen this year. I could see, JRM finish 2-3 and have that happen for us as well, for Allgaier to finish at the top Chevy, or he does go out and win this one. I don't know. I mean, that's the difficult part about Justin Allgaier. Like you said, it's do you get Bristol Allgaier, or do you get Pocono Allgaier, or do you get Daytona Allgaier, or do you get Atlanta or Phoenix Allgaier, where he started 2nd and finished 36. Like, he finished 3rd in Fontana earlier this season, so the other mile and a half, and he finished 3rd to his the other Chevy that finished in front of him was, guess who?
Brandon Jones,
John Mayer, Sam Mayer, finished in front of him. So it was Sam Mayer 2, Justin Allgaier 3. The scenario's there. Who won that race? John Hunter Nemechek. So it's, again, there's a scenario that can be made that Allgaier at the end passes Mayer, or is ahead of Mayer at that to finish at the top Chevy. So I like Brandon Jones, but I'm going to hedge a little bit with Justin Allgaier at plus 175 as top Chevy.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with taking two guys to do this, right? Because Allgaier is the one who should get it done. And if you want to sprinkle in a longer shot like a Jones, I would probably rather go Austin Hill plus 340 along with Jones. But again, if you like Allgaier this week, look, the most likely outcome is John Hunter Nemechek is going to be the fastest car and he's going to win this race. And so if that's the case and you want to find a way to get in on Allgaier will probably be the next best car. If things don't go wrong, he should be the next fastest car most likely. And so he should be right there. Maybe gets that second place finish and get a little better price if he's top Chevy over Bean, and even if he wins, you're still covered if you cash this bet. And so I think this is a good way to get in on Allgaier if you want to find a way to bet him. And again, as far as the top Chevy bets go, nothing wrong with betting multiple guys to be the top finishing manufacturer. Then obviously you've got a couple of different options in there and hopefully can cash one way or another.
It's like a first touchdown bet. You just sprinkle a little bit on it. So.
That's exactly right. There's a lot of guys who could score that first touchdown. There's a lot of guys who could finish as a Chevy. So you separate it up appropriately, right? You probably don't place a bet on the four most favorited guys because you're not going to make much of a profit then, but you spread it out a little. And even if you want to throw the favorite in there, nothing wrong with that. Next up for me, Rod, winning car number. Took this one before you could get to it. Sorry, but it was low hanging fruit. Over 11.5 minus 125. I've got one question when it comes to this number of over 11.5. Can you check the entry list and let me know what number John Hunter Nemechek drives?
I've researched this, and that is the 20 car, Cody.
Okay,
He's driving the 20 Joe Gibbs car today.
That's over 11.5. Okay, then yes, I will take that. I mean, again, you're getting the 3 JRM cars, so you get Sammy Smith, who can be fast. Again, he gets in his own way more than he doesn't, but he can be fast. He can win this type of race. You get Trevor Bayne, who we didn't mention, but he'll be in the 19 car again this week. He's capable of good runs and wins. You get John Hunter Nemechek. You get Austin Hill. Just having those four guys alone makes this worth taking it. Yes, you also get Chandler Smith. You get some other guys thrown in there as well. But just the fact that it's John Hunter Nemechek for one, and then those other 3 cars. You get the three JGR cars, which is going to be the fastest team. I will be more surprised than anything else that surprised me this year if JGR is not the fastest team this weekend, because they have the most speed on these 1.5 miles, and it's not that close. Like, they are the best cars each and every time we come to these. They've got it figured out. So yeah, I love this. You're getting all 3 of those guys and Austin Hill. That's all I need to cash a bet like this. And it does, again, if you're going to go all in on John Hunter to win, if you're going to go all in on John Hunter top 3, if you take this, it does give you that, you're still getting John Hunter, right? But it gives you some insurance as well in case Austin Hill wins, or in case Urbane wins, or in case Sammy Smith wins, or Chandler Smith, or one of the, Parker Kligerman steals, or Riley Herbst steals a win. I mean, there's other guys above this number that could win as well, right?
Yeah, and I hate you for picking that one before I could, because I took a look at the other side of it too, where it was the winning car number odd or even, and even is
juiced up too much. Yeah,
minus 145.
I looked at it. Well, because you get a lot more options doing it that way, right? You get the 18 and the 20, you get the 8, you get the 00, there's a lot more. You get the 10 car. Oh God.
Ooh, definitely take that one.
That makes it less attractive. Sorry.
Yeah, that should drop it back down to about 120.
Yeah, that should bring the number back down.
Yeah, we should petition the books. Let's not do this, shall we? All right. So then I'm going to go back to the one that I skipped over to get to Allgaier, and that's Sheldon Creed as a top 5 car this weekend. Poor Sheldon Creed. You feel for the guy. You want him to have good finishes. He did have an 11th place finish despite taking his teammate out last week at Bristol. But as a top 5 car, look, 3 out of his last 5 races have been top 5 finishes. 2nd at Watkins Glen, 2nd at Daytona, 3rd at Kansas, paired with an 8th place at Darlington as well. Here's the thing, and this is what this shows me, the flexibility of Sheldon Creed, right? 2nd on a road course, 2nd at a super speedway, 3rd at a mile in Kansas. So I'm okay with taking him here in Texas because, to me, a mile and a half at Kansas, not a mile. He's got speed on all of these different types of tracks. He can finish well on all these different types of track, right? And for Sheldon Creed, all he's got to do is just put it together and find himself in the mix for a top 5. And on this track in particular, He's been on it twice as an Xfinity driver, both in 2022. Bad outing for him in the first one, 26th place finish, but he rallied back last year from a 13th place start to a 7th place finish, 2 spots outside of the top 5 in that race. There were a couple of drivers that are no longer with us in this, and that's Noah Gragson and Ty Gibbs. They're still alive. They're just not in this series anymore. So you bump that up. Sheldon Creed is a 5th place car on this race,
man.
right? So it can be done. And as long as Sheldon Creed can stay healthy in his car and not have Austin Hill headhunting him this week, I think Sheldon Creed can get inside of the top 5. His top 5 number is plus 275, so I even like that better.
Yeah, I really like this. If you remember back, Kansas was just 2 weeks ago, not that long ago. We hit Sheldon Creed top 3 at plus 800. Obviously, the numbers come down a little. I actually strongly considered playing this top 5 as well. I went a different way. Spoiler alert. Stay tuned in a few on Sheldon Creed. But I do think, again, he proved just 2 weeks ago, that is your most recent example. It's goes with current form. It goes with everything. And he was 5th late in the race. He ran his way up to 3rd, cashed that big bet for us. We remember that, of course, and you're still getting him almost 3-1 just to finish inside the top 5. So I love this bet as well.
I just hope he stays out of trouble. I really do. Again, the speed of the car is there. And obviously we talked about how fast Cole Custer is going to be, which, these guys, I don't know. It's just, to me, I feel like this is going to have to happen at some point for Sheldon Creed. And I know you're going to get there in a second. So we will be back with our race winner picks for this Andy's Cold Fusion Custard betting 300 stuff. It's Andy's Frozen Custard 300. If I'm going to screw up stuff, I'm going to screw it all up, right? So save me, old-fashioned fantasy football podcast. We'll be back after this.
Hey, everybody. If you play fantasy football, especially in auction leagues,
or you're a whiskey fan.
Yes, exactly. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast fantasy football channel show, Old Fashioned Football.
Coming to you every Tuesday morning. Give us a listen. We'll bring you the latest fantasy football data, including
The injury report,
studs and duds,
waiver wire targets,
and suggested fab.
market movers. After all, we are the Marks.
He is my hubby.
And she's J Mark's wifey.
And we're bringing all this to you while drinking an old fashioned and giving you our honest review of a different whiskey every week.
All that and more. Hop on over, give us a listen, come for the football, stay for the whiskey.
This ad's almost done.
Going once, going twice.
Sold.
People think I'm playing favorites with old-fashioned fantasy, but to be honest with you, they're the only ones that sent me a actual demo or a reel for them. So if somebody actually sends me a promo for their show on the network, I'll play it. But until then,
To be honest, we are playing favorites, though, because they are our favorites. So
this is true. This is true. Justin, you know this, and you're listening right now thinking to yourself, exactly. So, all right. Well, somebody is going to win this race, Cody. Who on this long list of winners do you think it is?
Rod, I feel like I've already talked about him tonight a couple of times. John Nemechek. It's 3-1. It's down to plus 240 on some books. I don't care. Just hammer John Nemechek. He's going to win this race. Like I said earlier, it's going to be the fastest car. He's the fastest driver. He's the best driver. Everything points to another John Nemechek week. I'm going to be I already am heavily invested in John Nemechek to win this race. So for me, it's Nemechek hands down 300. Plus 300. If it drops to plus 200, I don't just take it at whatever it is. He's going to win this race. Now, Rod, this is where insert your insurance company here and your insurance picks of the week, just in case, right? Flat tires happen, wrecks happen, mechanical issues happen. We get it, right? Those are the things that could defeat John Nemechek. And if those things happen, I think his teammate Trevor Bayne could be waiting in the wings. Talked about Bayne last week. Again, these JGR cars are going to be the fastest cars. I can't say that enough times during the show. They are going to be the fastest cars this weekend. And when you see John Nemechek lead 200 laps and win this race, and they're like, wow, we're just so impressed by how fast JGR is, and who could have saw this coming? We saw it coming because that's what's going to happen. I'm telling you right now, that's how this race is going to go. So Trevor Bayne could be waiting in the wings there. It's going to be an equal equipment, right? So if Nemechek has a slip up, has a penalty or something, he could be right there waiting to pounce. Plus 800. I like Trevor Bayne as an insurance play. And you talked about him earlier. Sheldon Creed, he's 25-1. Look, he finished 3rd at Kansas. And he's shown speed, right? He's shown that ability to get up there and be so close. it's going to happen eventually, Rod. He's going to get that win. Hopefully he's not turning into a number 10, although he has won in the Truck Series before. So we'll give him that. Number 10 still only has one career win, and he's been in the Cup Series before. He will not be a rookie next year. He's been in the Cup Series in a full-time ride before, and it didn't go well. Surprise. Anyways, but back to Sheldon Creed. 25-1. There's just a lot of value here for a guy who can put himself in position late. We get some chaos. We get some wrecks, whatever it is. Late race restart, maybe a gamble at the end trying to win the race. Sheldon Creed could put himself in position. Can he actually win? Nobody knows. But 25-1, I think it's worth it.
Yeah. And again, he's got to do it sometime. He's been so close so many times this year. You got to get off the hump at some point. And this might be as good as any, especially to kind of prove that he's not the kind of driver that will take his teammate out as well. So I like that for him. All right. My outright is the same as yours. You took John Hunter right out from underneath me, so that's fine. I'll go with you there. But my Liberty Progressive Allstate insurance driver of the race is Cole Custer. Look, it was 8-1 as I was putting this document together. You guys already are sharps and you're betting this down. It's actually plus 750 now over on DraftKings as a best price for him. Superbook dropped him down already to 700. Bet65 has him at 300. And then so does Caesars. They all have him at 700. So does, I'm sorry. Get that back. Barstool has him at 800. So you can now find him at 800 on Barstool. So you guys aren't betting Barstool very much. So grab that while you can. Live lines as we talk. So 800 for Cole Custer. We talked about him earlier as far as, we had pegged him to win all, 32 races of the season.
What did I say? 10 plus wins he would have?
Yeah, you basically said he was going to win.
What a horrible take that was.
He was going to go back last year and win races and then
go back and burn those episodes, Rod, please.
It's all right. Listen, but it was not without warrant. He obviously is the kind of driver that can do it. He's won on this track already. He's got several solid finishes, even in the last few races that have proven that he's trending in the right direction, right? He's already got 2 wins in the season too. So this is not without some grain of possibility. And the fact of the matter is, as I was talking, like I said, he's been climbing in the favorites as far as this race is concerned on most of these books. Right now he's the 4th favorite to win this race behind Nemechek, Allgaier, and Hill. So again, he's sort of climbing those charts on the favorites list. So at 8-1 still, especially over there on Barstool, you might want to take advantage of a Cole Custer because this is the kind of race that he can just jump up and win. This is the type of race where he may not even qualify very well overall. He may just sort of be around the middle, or he may come out and qualify in the top 5 like he's done in the last few races that he's been in this race. So again, doesn't matter kind of where he starts. His finishes have been strong. And this season in particular, we've seen that he can get it done, especially later on in the season. He's starting to pick up a little bit better steam, winning the 2 races in the latter half of this season. So maybe we're starting to see the Cole Custer that we expected earlier in the preseason, and maybe he's getting rounding into form. So we'll definitely take it. And now he's gotten Cup rides because of how well he's actually been running, right? We've seen him in the Cup a couple times. Okay, fine. But he's been up there.
Or is it who his dad is? Who knows? But anyways, it's 1 Cup Series win he does have, by the way, at Kentucky, a comparable track to Texas here. So full transparency, I had Cole Custer in my sheet as a winner. I took him out and put Trevor Bayne in there at the same price instead, just because of the JGR factor. But I do like Custer. Had bet on him earlier. You've got a couple of bets on him. I think he could show up. I'm still bitter about him winning 8 less races than I thought he would win. Although we've got a few races left, maybe he gets it done, Rob.
Hey, he can win 4 races next week.
Right. Can he?
It's not hard to do.
However that works. Yeah, okay. We'll count
it. All right. Let's get out your pen and paper. Time to go over the bets for this Andy's Frozen Custard 300 at Texas. Cody started you out with Cole Custer, my new friend this week. I didn't know we were going to get to know each other that well, but here we are. Over Josh Berry at -110 on Superbook. I gave you Riley Herbst over Parker Kligerman at -115. Cody gave you John Hunter Nemechek as a top 3 car at -130. I said Sam Mayer would find his way to the top 3 at plus 380. Cody gave you Austin Hill as the top 5. We pretty much set the entire top 5 in this card at plus 120 on 365. I said Cole Custer would be a top 5 car at plus 110 over on Caesars. Cody said that Brandon Jones would finish as the top Chevy at 9-1. I said Sheldon Creed would be a top 5 car at plus 275. Cody gave you the winning car number over 11.5 at minus 125. I said that Justin Allgaier would be the top Chevy at plus 175. Cody said that John Hunter Nemechek at 3-1, Trevor Bayne at 8-1, and Sheldon Creed at 25-1 would be the ones to look out to win, while I gave you Cole Custer as my insurance play at 8-1 over on Barstool. Cody, 200 laps of Texas-sized fun this weekend. Saturday night, back to normal night for these guys. Saturday, I suppose, as it were. Back to normal day for Xfinity. But yeah, a lot of fun. Can't wait for this one.
Yeah, I'm excited. Again, it's going to be a good race for second place, probably behind John Hunter. But hey, if you're holding all these John Hunter tickets, it's going to be a great race if he leads every single lap too, and that's what makes it good. So, going to be a little bit of a chalky weekend. Obviously, I took the favorite in both of these races, but I just think that these cars are going to be fast. I think they're going to be good. I think we could see guys lead a majority of these races, and if they cash tickets, sounds like a good race to me.
Hey, listen, I am okay with a little less stress this weekend. Bristol did it to me already. I just want to breathe on this weekend and not have to sweat so many damn bets. I know the sweat's fun, but no, it's not. It's nice to not have to sweat every once in a while. So.
It is fun sometimes, but at the same time, I mean, it's like when when Martin Truex led, what was it, 600 laps at the 300 lap New Hampshire race, and it was like, well, this is a great race. I love every second of it because I had a lot of money on Martin Truex Jr. that week, so it worked out well.
We can double this and it'd be fine. Let's keep going as long as Martin Truex Jr. is up front. So, all right, Cody. I smell Brenner, so I am ready to go. Let's
right.
I know I smell pancakes, man. I'm ready. It's breakfast for dinner at the house.
Sounds delicious. I had my dinner a little bit ago. Obviously, we're in different times, but yeah, enjoy your dinner. Enjoy your do breakfast for dinner. There's nothing better.
Nothing.
Bone and wings, maybe a little better, but breakfast for dinner, a close second place.
You woke up and chose violence this morning. Get out of here. Tell everybody where they can find you on the way out.
Yeah, follow me over on X. You can find all my work there. Check out the F1 Gambling Podcast as well. Probably be back with that episode of that tonight. Yeah, going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. It should be a good weekend in Texas. We'll be back next couple of days. Got some fun stuff for you. No trucks this weekend, unfortunately, but got DFS and some other fun stuff scheduled. So come back and join us.
Indeed. I'm on X at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bio, everything I got going on, whether it's here. Propcast is going on strong. Thursday Night Football is up. If you listen to it before then, obviously my stuff at Sportsbook Review. Just follow me for all of that on X at RJ Villagomez. Back tomorrow, DFS, and then Friday with some more fun for you as well. So until then, let's go racing. Enjoy your Andy's frozen custard and let it ride.